And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I have lots of favorite foods. Tacos are my favorite. Kimchi jjigae from Korea is my second favorite. There's lots of different delicious things. Budae another soup from Korea. But there's nothing like a good sub. Technically, hoagies and heroes are better than subs, but let's not get all worked up in the correct terminology. Sub Heroes is a game in which you're making sub sandwiches. You're playing cards to make the best sandwich that you can. Unfortunately, as interesting as the theme is, the game is just kind of all out random. Some people might not be opposed to this randomness, and thus you should continue to watch the review and see why. Others are going to be like, if you don't really like randomness in games, then you can stop watching the review here, it's not for you. But otherwise, let's take a closer look. In Sub Heroes, there are 3 stacks of cards: Quest, Ingredient, and Substitute. At the beginning of the game, each player takes 2 of the Quest cards, put them in plastic stands, which he'll place in front of him so he can see the subs that he's trying to build. These cards will tell you what you need for the sub. For example, this sub needs bread, turkey, and American cheese, and possibly mustard and tomatoes, and even more so possibly onions and green peppers. While this Quest card here needs bread, salami, and provolone, possibly black olives and mayo, and possibly mustard and green peppers. If you get the first 3 ingredients, you get 3 points, then 5 points, and 7 points if you get all 7 ingredients. Players are going to start with a handful of 5 of these ingredient cards. Now these cards show them artwork that, is supposed to be funny. This is the sandwich and all American cheese, and each of these cards is either like this one, which can only be an ingredient card. This is only tomatoes. While this one here can be bread, or it can be played as an action card. On a player's turn, they have to play 2 cards. They can play one of them as an action, not both of them, but one of them. They can discard them, or they can play them in front of themselves next to one of their subs that they have on the table and start building that sub. Once the card is laid, the card is played. Once you want to score a sub on your turn, you simply score it, take the amount of points for it, and draw a new quest card. Now these substitute cards, these are different ingredients, and these are mostly in the game because every once in a while one of the ingredient cards basically acts as a wild card. It will say that you can play this card as any. For example, this one here. I can play this card as any type of cheese. So if I do that, instead of putting it down, I just go through my deck and say, oh, cheddar's the cheese, I want it, and put that in my sandwich. So that's basically the game. The first person to get 20 points is the winner. And, it's all about funny artwork and such. And the action cards can do all sorts of things from, forcing your opponent to score a sandwich early to stealing ingredients that your opponent has placed down. And that's basically it. Like I said, I'm in the mood for sandwiches. I love them. I love eating them. And I can see that that would draw some people to this game. But in the end, it's just not a good game because you're basically just, do I need this ingredient in a sandwich? Do I put it here? Do I play this action card? I will complete this action card. And yeah, you can say, oh, you can talk it up and laugh and have fun as you do things to each other, but it just doesn't work very well. And so all in all, the game just kind of fizzles and fades, and I really can't recommend it pretty much to anybody.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.